What was the longest night you ever had as a parent? At my son's 4-week checkup, the young pediatrician took his pulse and looked worried. I can't take his pulse. What? I can't count it. It's too fast. I'm thinking, so what? The kid is the right color, breathing, doing baby things. So, what do you mean? Okay, so, you're going to have to take him down the street to the pediatric ER. Now, what? Okay, so, either I call an ambulance right now to take your son 4 blocks to the ER or you can do it. Your choice. Gotta love doctors. I'm not one to panic, so I got him dressed, packed him up, and drove down the street. On my way out, the doctor said, "Tell the ER reception nurse that your baby is having an SVT. They'll know what to do." Not knowing that SVT meant supraventricular tachycardia, I calmly walked up to the ER nurse and said, "Our pediatrician said to tell you that this baby is having an SVT." "That baby?" she said, pointing to my son. Something about the way she said it chased any snarky quips out of my head. "Yes, this baby." "Oh," she said, and whacked some red button on the wall I failed to notice before. What happened next is blurry in my memory, but I think some kind of alarm sounded and announcements were made in the back of the ER. For sure, my son was no longer in my possession. I followed the nurse back to see them holding him down on an ER bed while they taped electrodes to his tiny body and tried to maneuver an itty-bitty 4 needle into his arm. He started crying at maximum baby volume. I put my hand on his chest to comfort him while he screamed bloody murder and we watched the monitor, which jumped as the last electrode got connected up to 246 beats per minute. Yeah, that's really fast. It's supposed to be like 110 or 120. "What are you going to do?" I asked. "Push some adenosine to reset his heart." Before I can ask what exactly that means, there is sudden silence because my son had stopped crying and seemed a little stunned. The monitor pauses for a second, drops down to 120 something, and the crying resumes. Everyone takes a breath of relief. "What just happened?" I asked one of the nurses, while grimacing at the sound of my son's constant crying. Apparently God made it very difficult for any parent to stand idly by while their baby cries as loud as they possibly can. "Your son's heart was racing out of control, so we stopped it. The brain kicks it back on, hopefully at a normal rate." I'm thinking, "You did what?" Exclamation mark, but only managed to get out, "Why was it that fast?" "We called the pediatric cardiology group, and the head guy will be down later to see you." "Oh, hopefully what we did will keep his rate down, because adenosine metabolizes quickly." As if she called it into being, his heart rate spikes back up to 230, then 240, then 250. Somehow the crying gets louder. The nurses push another dose and he's back down to 120 again. The nurses and maybe a doctor start to gather up and murmur,